here. That's good and totally understandable for those who cannot make it. It is special holiday. Okay, so I'd like to focus today on homework 6, and hopefully you already, if you have already downloaded the program to, let me turn off the light a little bit. The program on GitHub, which is, this time it is a reference implementation, which you should use it to start to develop your server. So it's essentially a client server. If you look at the code, the server essentially take parts of the code from the Wordle.c program with very minor modification. By the way, it's fun if you want to take a look how I actually massage the code. Is pretty much the same routine, but I actually just integrate into how do you build a server that's actually supporting that. I'll show you how it works so you can actually start develop your solution. So essentially what we ask you to do is homework 6, you split the code, which I actually provide you the server. The server is actually responsible for a lot of major function that's actually to play the game, Wordle. While you need to develop the client, which you already have, essentially, for your homework assignment number 1, about what is the strategy for you to be able to interact with the server and solve the problem. Okay, there's a few catch I want to mention. There is one significant difference about homework 6 and homework 1. Homework 1, essentially, we didn't restrict you about how many times you can get. So some of your strategy is correct, but it's a brute force. It's essentially you try all the word in all.txt or solution.txt, and of course you can guess it right. So in this scheme, that you actually will ask the server for either a new game or existing game. So when you create a new game, the game has the score 100. So any team, basically this program is by team. So any team make an incorrect guess, then the value of the point will deduct by 1. So basically it's become 99. So essentially you solve the puzzle after 10 incorrect guesses. So which means that this 10 guesses might provided by you or the other team who happen to have this. Then essentially when you solve it, your team is going to get 90 because it's 100 minus 10. So your objective is try to, we will do that in the homework 6 party over here in the server. You try to score 1,000 points. So obviously you can still do manually guesses, but it will be really slow. For you to have a program and very quickly do that, you might be able to get down to a 1,000 point in score very quickly. Okay, so that is a significant difference. So there is a score. I'm not trying to raise the competition about team 1 and team 2 or whatever, but each of the team, in order to get, there's totally 8%. 4% of this is if you score 1,000 points. And the other 4%, I will need you to submit your program. The program you actually scored the 1,000 points. And if we actually check the program, we feel this program, number 1, is number 1, yes, you indeed has a program. And your make file, when I take make, it will actually make the program correctly. That's the mundane things we're going to check. And the other thing we will check is whether you have any kind of major plagiarism. We actually see that. So we want to try to get it out. Yeah, please. In unlimited round. It's unlimited, but there is a limit actually, is 100. Because of 100 points, every time you have a round for a particular game. I'll show you that. And after 100 guesses, the value of the score is going to 0.
I guess I meant how many games?
Oh, you can do as many games as you want.
Get the 1,000.
What?
Oh, to get over 1,000 points, you could do like a million games.
Yeah, a million games. That's why autonomous is important. You can keep submitting the request to the server. I'll show you. Essentially, the game mode is you actually request the game, or you actually requested previous already played games, and you want to actually solve that. And then the other thing is based on that game, it's going to give you a game ID to provide your guess. And the game server will provide you the result. Okay. There's one thing or two things I didn't include in the reference implementation I gave it to you. Is the student ID. Because the way it works is that after you solve a game, what you should do immediately program, don't wait too long because other people might claim your credit. You actually submit, there is a function called submit. You submit the game ID. So every game has a game ID. I'm going to show it to you. The server will always record which game has been solved. It's completed. Was completed. I'm not going to release that to any group of students. So after you solve the game, you actually submit your group name. Okay, so okay, this is what I want you to do is that every group you need to actually provide 3 or 4 students with a student ID. And then with a group name, you decide. For example, you can say, my group name is Happy Thanksgiving, or my group name is Pikachu 123. That's your choice. And you choose your name when you submit the game ID with your group name. So I will have a record, I can record it, and then I can actually, you have to find some way. I will tell you which way. You can tell me the binding between the group name and your student ID. Because one thing I'm really careful about this, I don't want your student ID show up anywhere in the process. That's something which I want to make sure that what likely to happen is when you submit hand in the canvas, that you can do that, or I will find another secure protocol for you to submit that binding. Okay, so that part is not in the reference implementation. Okay. So number 2, I do want to say that homework 6 is supposed to be fairly lightweight. Lightweight means that if you already done homework 1, you already done homework 5, homework 6 should be relatively straightforward because you just basically implement that. But you do need to participate in order to make sure your program will score. If your program is doing like a brute force guessing, then of course the point is going to be low. So you have to do better than brute force. You have to at least get 99 as a limit. Okay, so let me actually tell you what the program looks like. As usual, you have this code. I should probably tell you. Okay, let me actually just get rid of this code, reset it. This is the reference implementation. So I'm going to cd games. I have a games directory. I'm going to remove Wordle. Okay, by the way, number 1, I hope for those of you sitting here, if you can download the code, try to compile it, see if your environment, everything is okay. Because if you can compile, everything should be pretty positive. Okay, so this is a directory, essentially have everything, and okay, this is essentially whenever I have this type of client server, you can imagine I'm using RPC, remote procedure call, to do that. So to define, look at this part. Homework 6 is the JSON RPC specification. This specification essentially has only 2 functions. One is called obtain, one is called guess. So obtain is essentially you basically bring in a game from the server, say, I want to solve this game. So there are 2 cases. if you actually initiate the game ID 00000, that means it's going to be a new game. And if you actually can provide an existing game ID, which I will show you what the game ID looks like. By the way, it will be interesting if you find a loophole in the system that you can actually find a bug or vulnerability of the server such that you can actually really break the system. I will give you extra credit. Okay, so if you actually get the game with either a new game or existing game, I will be giving you the game itself. So what is a game itself? Game itself is essentially what has been the history about this game. So essentially, what's the game? It's a game ID plus the history about the game. What's the history? Meaning that what has been guessed and what's the result. Okay, you will see what I meant by that. Okay, and guess is you just actually provide a guess. You just provide a guess and it works. So let's look at the client program, but the client program is really performed a guess. The client program should look somewhat similar to you, but this is under the context of Wordle. So, okay, this is essentially the first part of the program is just create just like every remote procedure call, you have to do that. You have to set up an HTTP client, which is, you should be seeing this a lot already. Okay, so then I'm going to do is, you see that the first step, I'm actually trying to obtain. So you can see that I'm actually calling my client.obtain, and obtain takes 3 parameters. Let's actually take a look at the JSON file. The JSON file said obtain has 3: action, class ID, and game ID. So what I did here is the first one is action is obtain. And the second one is a class. I actually name it Wordle. So Wordle is a class. And then the game ID, I said, okay, if it's a 0000080, that's actually going to be a new game. Okay, so here I'm actually, my program is requesting a new game. All right. After I'm done with the new game, I'm actually getting my feedback. This is basically the feedback on a successful creation of a game. So let me actually stop my program here. And then let's see what happened up to this point. Let me see, return 1. Okay, I'm just shortcut my program here. You can actually try to run this program on your computer. So I'm going to run WHW6 server. So this program is provided to you so you can actually check your strategy. Okay, so I actually create this program. Just let you know, when I create this program, if you check the games directory, there's nothing in the game directory. Let me actually change to the games directory. So this is a clean, because the games directory is every time somebody requests a new game, I'm going to create a new file over there to actually sort what's the result of the game. Okay, so the server is ready and the game directory is empty. So now I'm going to do the client. Okay, so I'm actually submit the client, and this is the JSON I'm actually getting back. Okay, so you can see that there's a few things I'm sending you back. Is the check word means that you haven't guessed anything. Of course, is actually all of them is underscore. Okay, that means that is just for new game, that's always expected. And here's a game ID. You see that the way I generate game ID is I create a random number. I create a random number and round it to 100,000. So I'm actually getting a number between 0 and 100,000. And then I'm actually get a timestamp at the time I receive the request. And I combine these two together as the game ID. Okay, so that's how I create the game ID. And then you can see that the remaining score is 100. And over here, the word is, we don't know. We don't know what the word is. So word is a solution. Of course, I very carefully make sure I don't send the solution to the client. So this is after you create a game, that the things you will be getting. Okay, let's look at the server side. The server side has a similar structure. It actually create a file. You see that it's create games, Wordle, whatever, is the same thing, .json. So this is the file that's created. Yeah, you have a question?
Did you get that with the lecture.json function that you made? That output, this.
Oh, no, no, I didn't use a .json.
Oh,
What I did is, because JSON RPC, everything they pass back and forth is JSON. So already JSON, so I don't need to create another C++. I'll just directly print out the result. By the way, right now for this, for the reference implementation and for your implementation, you shouldn't need to use anything like a dump to JSON or JSON to object, because right now we're completely dealing with information in JSON format only. Okay. Okay, so now let's actually take a look at the server. Right now, we have server now have a file. You see that this file was created. The file is created, Wordle, whatever that number, because remember the number and the timestamp is the ID of the game. Is the ID of a game. By the way, unless so many students submit the request at exactly the same time, I would say that this ID is more or less unique, because as time progresses, you will see that this part is a random number, which is not so easy to guess. And this part is timestamp. It will just monotonically increasing, but in the granularity of a seconds. So 1 second in real life is a lot. But 1 second in computer world is a lot. You can have so many things happen within a second. So today, typically, we're talking about microsecond or millisecond in terms of the instruction. So there might be some loopholes. I'm counting on the randomness of this ID to differentiate different requests. I might actually make this bigger to just be safe. Okay, so let's actually take a look what's in there. If you take a look what's in there, I actually have the check word is this. I have a game ID. I have a remaining score, and I have the word. Okay, so I save the word, the solution in my server. So when I return to the client, I actually change it to question mark. Okay, so this is my database. Of course, when you play the game against the server, you cannot see this. Okay, I won't allow you to see that. If you find a way to compromise my server to see that, I will give you credit for that. Okay, special credit. I'm going to use my computer, so using NG-Rock, and see if you can find a way to compromise that server. That would be really interesting if you can do that. Yeah, I feel for education, this is the time I encourage you to hack. Okay, hack your instructor's computer is fine. Okay, all right. So you can see that I actually stored the file. The file is a similar structure. Okay, so that's how I created the game. Okay, so now I can actually do a little bit of fun to guessing. Right? Any question? So by the way, one strength about this this software is that I can just kill it and run it again, because the ID is always there. I can always actually, because see, in this program, I know the computer will up and down, so I didn't try to save anything in the memory. Everything I save in a file. So this is important as a programmer. When you start to building a real application program, you always think about what happened, your program is down. I mean, where do you retrieve the information? So that's why I'm actually relying on the file to do a lot of work. Okay, so let's actually, now I have to change the client to do a little bit. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is that the first program I got is returning the game ID. So I have the game ID in my system from that JSON I received from the client. So you can see that I'm actually checked. I mean, I'm kind of pessimistic that sometimes server forgot to give me a game ID. So I still check whether the game ID is null, whether the game ID is a string. It should be, okay? If you connect it to the right server, this should always be. But it's always good as a programmer to be defensive. By the way, the programmer don't assume a lot about which server, which version of server you're dealing with. Because sometimes you can imagine there was an attack called phishing attack. Phishing attack is somebody actually lure you to believe that's a real service, and then you connect to that. So by doing this check, sometimes you might be able to differentiate whether this is a real server or not. So that's why I said when we do programming, we always try to be defensive. It's helping whoever use the program. Okay, so if the game ID is okay, remember we have, I think, who actually gave this three words? I forgot. You gave this three words, right? The first one is Earth, and I basically just implement Earth, Mount, and Siki, right? That's a three word you use to play Wordle. Thank you so much. After I learned these three words, I always solve the Wordle with 4 guesses. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay. Yeah, I haven't have a chance to play Wordle. Okay, since this quarter, I have so many things going on. Okay. All right. So you can see that what I did is I call this again. I call the function remotely my client.guess. The action. Okay, let me actually show you the second function. So always take a look at your RPC specification file, which tell you what's the parameter. So the guess has actually 4: action, class ID, game ID, and my guess. Okay, so here is guess is the action, and then Wordle is a class ID. I always check whether this is a Wordle, and then see the third one, the game ID. What's the game ID? I actually use the previous one. I use myv. I know there is, let me actually show you what it is, just reminds you. If you take a look at the file, you see that there is a key value pair. The key is game ID, and then it's actually the whole thing, okay? So you can take a look what I did here is that myv game ID dot as string, okay? As long as I know it's a string. Why? Because I already checked this too. So over here, there's no reason that this should fail. Okay, this is as a string. And then what's the last one? The last one is my guess. My guess is Earth. Okay, so let's actually do something very quickly here. Let's actually first just see what you got from the first guess. I'm going to actually copy this lines of code. And then I'm going to say return -1. Okay. Fine. Okay, so essentially what I'm doing is I request a new game, and then I just basically try to provide a guess. Okay, I believe my server is still not touched, so I can still use my server. And then I run my client. Okay, so now let's actually take a look at this. So after this is the original one, essentially the program will always create a new game. I'm sorry. And then it basically the guess. Where's my guess? Okay, guess is here. It's recorded. I guess Earth, and the result is basically this, right? Elder, that's correct result, right? #_O because R is elder, so that's why I have that. And at this time, I was recorded with a time, and then still the solution is this. And then you see right now, because this is incorrect, still incorrect, whatever. So the score is reduced to 99 from 100. Okay, you have a question? Yeah.
Is the .json file acting like a database kind of, or which file
Right.
access?
What I did in my design, it doesn't have to be that way, is that every individual game, I actually store the game data into a particular JSON file. Okay, that's a good question. Let's take a look at the game directory. Now you see the game directory has 2 entries.
But creates a new file.
My random number generator has some problem. I forgot to run the C. It's actually the same. That's not good. Let me actually, I should actually put the C. How do I set the C correctly? SRAM, right? C. The way to do is SRAM. Yeah, SRAM is providing a seed. Okay, so I'm going to do a SRAM because I'm actually forgot to do a C. Then it's always generate the same number. That's not good. 1 second. I'm actually going to the server mode. And I'm going to kill this. Okay, so this is a server. You can take a look at the server is a little bit long because it basically just include a lot of program from the original Wordle program. I'm going to do this C, so I just call it SRAM, and let me actually put integer FP. So would that be good? Yeah, I will try to do that. This is essentially using the memory address to do that. Let me see if this works. No, it might not be good. Yeah, I'll try it. Oh, I cannot do that. Lost information. Thank you, C++. Let me do this. Let me do a this is mistake. I want to do the server side. Yeah, I'm actually getting this one. I'm getting the time. I'm using the time and using the seconds to be the seed. Let me do a very quick one. And then I'm going to do my PTR to the, let me actually see my JV time spec. My JV time has second. Okay, so good. So I'm going to do this. Second. Times my PTR minutes. And then times my PTR. I'm just trying to make it random. Okay, year. Okay, I think I'm happy with this. We should be able to get some nice random number now. Okay, so now I'm going to run the server. And then I'm going to run the program again. All right, so now let's take a look at this directory. Okay, so now I'm actually getting a different number. Okay, I have this program. So go back to your question. So you can see that each of the file is being saved when when the server receive a request to start a new game. Okay, so so what's happening is that, okay, for example, right now I have a game, and starting here is this one, and I can actually use this as the key to actually retrieve it and then try to keep playing the game. I can actually do that as well. Okay, does that answer your question? Okay, good. So let's actually take a look at the last one, which is this file. So not surprised that this is similar information as you created, but every single guess that you provide, we will recording with what is the words you get, what is the word you guess, and what's the result, and also what's the time when the guess was performed. All right. And the thing is that that's how you can actually get. By the way, this one, the word is how do I pronounce that word? Telde? Telde. Okay, that's is that a hard one? That's a hard one, right? Yeah, that's a hard one. Okay, so I can let me actually play a trick about what's happening. So I'm actually changed the program because this is the oh wait a minute. This is the game ID, right? Let me actually try to play a trick. Okay, so what I'm going to play a trick is this. This is just for you to test it, whether the program actually work. Okay. HW6 client.cpp. So now I want to do this. I'm going to do a guess. Okay, I'm going to do a guess here. Okay, this is the game ID, and I'm going to do this. Okay, this time is still guess, still Wordle, but the game ID, I'm actually just directly filled in with the game ID I just have. Okay, so I'm just getting, and what was the word again? Tilde. Tilde, something like that? Okay, all right, good. Let's see what happened. Assuming I'm so smart, okay? I have a way to see the crystal ball to be able to do that. Wait a minute, something is wrong. Wait a minute, I missed one thing. I missed something. Why this is
Try? Is it supposed to be in the try or?
yeah, exactly. Yes, I need to have a try. That's what I'm missing. Yeah, now this is good. Okay, so let's try to guess this again. Okay, let's I want to change the other thing. I want to actually not request a new game. Let me just get rid of this two lines so I don't create a new game. Oh, wait a minute. No. I want to, yeah, let's not do this one. Yeah, because I already have that. And then I don't want to create a new game. I just want to directly guess. Hopefully this will allow me to compile without any trouble. All right. So here is a server, and I'm actually just provide a guess. Wait a minute, why is this null? Let me actually check what happened. No, it's the guess has to be correct. It's not, I actually missed one parameter, otherwise it should pass over here, no problem. Let me check what did I do wrong. Sorry about that. I already get rid of this. I don't need to obtain, so I'm fine. And I don't want to do this. Oh, you know why? because I still have to do this. I have to get rid of this actually as well, because it actually check whether my vgame ID is null, because I didn't actually, I blocked that line. So this two line will fail. So I cannot even go into there. Okay, this part then it should be okay. Yeah, sometimes I check too much, and then I'm getting myself some trouble. Okay, so now let's try to see if this works. Okay, good. You see that now this check word is this, because I actually guessed it right this time. And then if you take a look over here in this file, wait a minute, it didn't record the last part. Oh, there is a bug. I forgot to record the last one when you guess, but I guess I don't need to record because the check word is actually the correct. So you actually got that one. Okay, the demo is not as smooth, but hopefully you see that how you can actually directly guess it right. And by the way, the program, what it will do is that this record, if you look at another one, if you look at the Wordle 16 whatever, let's say this should be 2. If you look at this, it says the check word is this. This means that it hasn't been actually handled, or you actually take a look at the other one. So the check word is this. That means it's still in progress. So it's always show whatever the result, the last guess. But if a game is complete, then it will have this 5 pound sign, means that the game is solved. So this one, whoever solved this problem is actually going to get 99 points, because it's only one incorrect guess. They only deduct by 1. So the team, whoever can do that, is going to get 1 point. Okay. All right. So I'm going back to the original program. I just get this things back to its original form. Okay, so now I'm actually going to do this, tell you how it might looks like. Okay, I'm going to do the 3 guess and create a new game. And I'm going to get rid of this one because this is a hack. Okay, so the first time I'm going to guess Earth. Sorry, I missed this one. And the second time is a mount, and the third time for the same game is a Siki. And then at the end, let's take a look at what's going to happen. Let's try to run this program again. Okay, so now you can see I make 3 guesses. And the first guess, Earth, is O. The second time is also O. And then 2 O. So actually, I got how many letters? 4 letters, right? Anybody want to give a guess about what will be the word if you get this 3 result? Even though it's 97. Can you actually find a way? So you already got, you got all 5 letters already, right? What should be the word? Not too bad, right? It must be started with S. It must be S, right?
Oh, it's smart.
Hold on, let me actually take the game ID. So this is a game ID, okay? Okay, I didn't realize that this is so close. This is probably the best case. You got 97 points if you can guess the next one. All right, I'm going to block this line. I'm going to block this line. I'm going to block this line. And I'm going to do this part. Okay, you guys think about this. I'm actually going to make the program to work. That's my job. And your job is make sure you guess the 5-letter words correctly. Okay, this is the game ID. Oh, sorry. Okay, and what should be the word? S what?
Smirk.
SMIRK. Okay, smirk. Okay. Let's see what happened. Sorry, I forgot one more thing I need to do. Smirk, after smirk, I'm going to return -1. It will ask you more function after that. So I want to just jump out instead of just. Okay, let's see if I got it right. What? I must done something incorrect because just like the case, I forgot to comment out one thing. Try. Wait a minute, I did this one, right? What did I do wrong? It's the same thing I got. I will do exit. If I help. What happened with this new one? Doesn't make sense. Hold on 1 second. So it's not even. Yeah, I actually got it. It says the guess is smirk. So it's already done. Let me actually take a look at the Wordle itself. Not this one. I better actually wrinkle all this small block. So it's actually, from my record, this has been solved. And the correct answer, you guys are right, is a smirk. So for some reason that the output didn't show that. I'm a little bit disappointed. But you can see that when I try the same word, it will give me null because it consider that game is already done. So it's actually not going to give back any result. Okay. Okay, any question?
We have the same code that you feel like you don't. Since you have the silver animation, you also be able to make it.
Yes. Yeah. So what the code you actually download is it will allow you to run exactly the server I actually share here. So basically, the server I provided there has the capability about checking the word, generating the word and checking whether the word is correct and give you the result. All this logic is still there. The only thing that the real server, when you're doing the real stuff, the difference is that the real server will have the capability be able to record let you submit saying that, hey, this is the thing I solved a game, then I will report as the team score. And that part is not included, right? But if you develop your own autonomous algorithm, this should be enough, because as long as you see that you against the server that you can actually guess within 100 guesses, then you will be able to score something. So in the next week, I think I will start doing this next Wednesday or even next Monday. You can actually start to try to run it out, and then the part I actually not 100% sure I'm going to do that, but I will have a public web server, put it in my computer. You can actually check your score as you increase, as your team increase, but not with your student ID, with your group name. Okay, that's why you guys should think about whatever cool group name you would like to have. And then make sure you don't, we will have a process for you to register. We want to make sure that I don't have two groups picking up the same name. That's the only thing I need to prevent. Okay. Okay, yeah.
So the people next to me, they are able to compile. I can't compile. I'm assuming that's because of the path for the JSON RPC, right?
Okay. Sure, we can, I will stay here. We take a few minutes break. I will make sure if, I assume that's the problem, it should be very easy to fix. For those of you who want to catch up the train to go home or do whatever, please go ahead, do that. But yeah, you have a question?
Oh, sorry, it was about an error, so let's just stop.
Okay, all right. So yeah, try to if you can, if you already have a JSON RPC installed, try to see if you can compile. Okay, I will stay here for another hour, and you have any question for homework, whatever homework or the final project, we can talk about that. Okay. Yes, you have a question in the back?
I don't know what the problem.
Okay, let me stop recording, and then I will help everybody to solve the issue. Yes.
Me and my teammates were trying to decide for